Good afternoon, class. My name is William Allen, and for our fourth and final speech today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it is I'm doing over here in Afghanistan. I'll tell you about the Security Forces career field, a little bit about that. I'm going to talk to you about the new concept of operations in regards to what we do outside the wire. Excuse me. I'll touch on the configuration of my Security Forces squad, the team that I'm leading over here. And then I'm going to wrap things up today, giving you a little bit of insight about the weapon systems that we use, and I'll even do a little demonstration, show you what these weapons are about and how we use them. In order to get a better idea of what I'm saying, you'll need to understand what the Security Forces career field is, and basically what it is that we do and how things have changed. So with that, I'll get started. Security Forces in general, it's basically like the military police of the Air Forces. So we hold a different title. Where Security Forces now, we used to be the Security Police, so everyone knew us as the SPs. All the way back to the Vietnam days, where we just basically did airfield security and defended the installation. In essence, in addition to that, comes with the garrison portion of our duties, which is the law enforcement mission. Like I talked about in other speeches, we a broad spectrum of operations that we do when it comes to that, between just traffic enforcement, entry control in and off the installation, investigations, things like that. So we do have the law enforcement aspect. You might be wondering, basically, the change in times that I discussed before. Especially since 2001, 2003, since 9/11, and then since the Iraq War started. Our whole concept of operations has completely shifted to more of an expeditionary mindset. We've joined forces with the Army more often than not to alleviate a lot of the pressures that they have, because they have such a huge mission over here and cover such a broad aspect of areas. They needed some assistance. They had these guys going over there for 12, 15, 18 months tours, and it's starting to really wear the Army thin. So they incorporated the Air Force to provide assistance with them when it comes to airfield, perimeter security, convoy operations, and area security operations outside the wire, which is where we come in. This is all groundbreaking stuff in the last couple of years, but it's definitely been a high ops tempo with Iraq getting ready to withdraw forces and the big drawdown and all the buildup in Afghanistan. The Air Force Security Forces career field definitely has a strain on us right now with multiple deployments. This is my fifth. And this is my third in the last 2.5 years. So we do 6 months tours with the training and things like that. So it's definitely been a strenuous time within our career field's history. So with that, I just gave you a little bit of insight about, a little background about what my career field is and how we've changed over the time since 2001, 2003 especially, and the shift in the high ops tempo with Afghanistan and Iraq. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about basically what is a Security Forces configuration of a 13-man squad. The way this is broken down, it's broken down into what we call Quebec teams. Right now I'm a QFEBU, which is basically a 2-man squad, or excuse me, a 13-man squad. So I am actually the squad leader over 12 other individuals. And the way my squad's broken down is into fire teams. I got an Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie fire team. And right there in the middle in the Bravo fire team, we have weapon systems, heavy weapons. We got M240 Bravo, which is a heavy weapon. And on the Alpha and Charlie teams, I have a M240, which is a light, we call it the SAW gun. Basically heavy fire in a fast amount of time, so we can engage to disengage the enemy if we need to. Let's see, when I first got assigned for this deployment, I had to take my squad through 45 days of training at Fort Bliss with the Army, like I said, so that has been a wonderful experience to work with them, but also gets to see, your troop leading procedures as a squad leader, and with the configuration of your teams, to make sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music and that you have all your squad tactics and your movements down. So had to make sure we had that. In addition to that, whenever we convoy, we have what we call the forward operating movement, otherwise known as a FOOM. So when we move in truck configurations, we carry our 4 trucks, our MRAP all-terrain vehicles, which is a mine-resistant anti-tank, mine-resistant anti-ambush vehicle. When we do that, we travel in 4 trucks. We have the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta truck. I usually drive in the Charlie truck, which is the command element, and I also have a radio telephone operator to do all radio transmissions through the JDOC, which is the Joint Defense Operations Center. So whenever we do that, that's how we do business. Again, this is a lot of Army talk, but like I said, since we shifted, we've been doing a lot of work with the Army. So that's kind of a breakdown of the Security Forces squad when it comes down to the 3 fire teams and the weapons. It's also a little bit about our forward operating movement when we do convoys outside the wire with the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta trucks. That's how we do business, and that's how the communications work. Still a very new, groundbreaking, and new process to our career field, but this has been a good tour thus far, so the training we had was top notch. So I just gave you a little bit of insight about that. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the weapon systems that I carry personally, and I'll touch briefly on the ones that we have in the trucks. So to start, this here is an M4 carbine. It's a 5.56 millimeter round. And one of the things we do with our guys whenever we talk about weapons, of course, you always treat every gun like it's loaded. You want to positively identify your target before you intend to shoot, and don't point your weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. So a little bit of weapon safety there. This is a lightweight gas-operated, air-cooled, magazine-fed, shoulder-fired weapon. Let's see. Standard load is 210 rounds that we carry on us at all times. It can fire semi-automatic. It's 45 rounds per minute. It's got an automatic 3-round burst for 90 rounds per minute. It's got a sustained fire rate of 12 to 15 rounds per minute, and of course a cyclic of 700 to 970 rounds per minute. Maximum range of this weapon is 3,600 meters. The maximum range of this weapon on a point target is 500 meters and 600 meters for an area target. So even though it's a small arms weapon, it's very very effective. You got 3 breakdowns of this weapon system. You get the lower receiver, the upper receiver. You got the bolt assembly here. You got, of course, you got the buttstock, collapsible buttstock, which makes the M4 pretty unique. Highly effective weapon that I love. The next weapon I'll talk about is one of our primary duty weapons when it comes to law enforcement operations. And that's going to be this one right here. This is 9mm Beretta. It's a NATO weapon, semi-automatic, recoil operated, self-loading, and magazine fed. Fires double action, single action. Let's see, unloaded, weighs 34 ounces with an empty magazine, weighs 41 ounces loaded. Primary duty weapon right here when we do law enforcement operations. Just gave you a little insight on the weapon systems that I use. The other weapons that we use in our squad right now also is the 240, like I mentioned before, the 249, the 203, and the 50 cal. All highly effective weapons that our guys are well trained on. So just basically broke down everything in a nutshell about my career field, all the changes we've had over the years, broken down into the configurations of my squad and what we had to do before we came here working with the Army and how that's been successful. Gave you a little bit of insight about the weapon systems that I carry and the ones that I carry within my squad. It's been a challenging couple of years, but we're getting through it, and everything's working out well. So I hope you took today's information just a little bit. I know I gave you, just squeezed a little bit into 5 to 7 minutes. I hope you took that information and you have a better outlook on what we do over here in Afghanistan. So thank you for that, and God bless.